3,500 years ago, in Upper Egypt, lived a pharaoh named HATSHEPSUT. She was the eldest daughter of Thutmose I, the third king of the new empire during the 18th dynasty. Her mother, the Queen Amos, was the great royal wife. The royal couple did not have a male heir. Thutmose I had a second royal wife, Mutnofret, and produced 3 sons. The youngest was also called Thutmose. After reigning a dozen years, Thutmose I died. His surviving son succeeded him under the name of Thutmose II. As was common practice within the royal families in ancient Egypt, he married his half-sister HATSHEPSUT, and they gave birth to a girl, Neferori. Polygamy was also a royal tradition, and Thutmose II had another wife, Isis. Together they had a son, the future Thutmose III. Thutmose II was probably a little weak, physically and in character. One can assume that during his reign it was Hatshepsut who led the country. She was very capable, as her father had given her an education normally reserved for princes, and she was certainly very intelligent and ambitious. Thutmose II died young, probably before he was 30. His throne was taken by his only son, who became Thutmose III. But the little boy, who was 5 or 6 years old, was incapable of managing the double country alone. Hatshepsut, 25 years old, became the regent of the kingdom. Several years later, probably between year 2 and year 7 of Thutmose III's reign, she crowned herself king of the 2 lands and took all the titles of a pharaoh. Her crowning name is Mat-Kari. Until the 22nd year of Thutmose III's reign, Egypt had not a co-regency, but a co-royalty. She is represented wearing all the attributes of a pharaoh, comprising the short loincloth, the false beard and the crook and flail. In the temples, the 2 kings are shown side by side as adults, but Hatshepsut Mat-Kari is usually in front. She was supported by the powerful clergy of Ammon of Karnak, who increased their power and wealth thanks to her. She used the Oracle of Ammon and the Theogamy myth to legitimize her title of Pharaoh. We will see all this in the Deir el-Bahari temple in the next video. She relies on brilliant, experienced senior officials, and in particular her loyal advisor Senenmut, who was the tutor of her daughter Neferori and the architect of her monuments. The most famous being the Mansion of a Million Years on the Nile's west bank opposite the city of Luxor. Most of the other constructions can be found in the Karnak temple, but signs of Hatshepsut can be seen all over Egypt. Hatshepsut disappeared suddenly from view in the 22nd year of the reign of Thutmose III. We still do not know what happened. For reasons also mysterious, attempts were made to eradicate her name from Egyptian history by hammering out her images and titulary. However, on certain monuments, the representation of Hatshepsut remained intact. Thutmose III is often thought to be the perpetrator of this eradication, soured by having had 22 years of his reign stolen from him by his aunt. For some historians, these desecrations happened after Akhenaton's reign. It was 100 years after Hatshepsut's death. Thutmose III reigned alone for a further 3 decades and became a great pharaoh. In 1903, in the Valley of the Kings, Howard Carter found a mummy whose identity was unknown. She was forgotten for a century. But in 2006, the mummy was transferred to the Cairo Museum for study. The scientists concluded that the body represented a small woman, obese and around 50 years old, probably dying from bone cancer. In 2007, Zahi Hawass, Then, General Secretary of the Supreme Council of Egyptian Antiquities announced that the mummy was that of Hatshepsut. She was identified thanks to a tooth which the mummy was missing and was found in a canopic jar with the name of Hatshepsut. The canopic jars contained the viscera of the mummified person. Curiously, I have been unable to find any photos of this canopic jar of Hatshepsut on the internet.
I can say that this is most important discovery after the discovery of Tutankhamun.
This identification, formalized by Zahi Hawass and sponsored by Discovery Channel, leaves certain Egyptologists skeptical.